Welcome to OnFinality's customer interview series, where we learn more from leaders in the blockchain space about how OnFinality's infrastructure helps them build the decentralized future faster. I'm Rob, head of growth at OnFinality, and today it's my pleasure to have Eliott, the CTO from Nodle, an IoT company, to join us for a chat on how they're using OnFinality's expertise in powering their mission-critical infrastructure. Hey, buddy, great to see you. Can you tell us more about Nodle?
Yeah, sure. So Nodle is, as you said, an IoT company, but we are more than an IoT company. We are a decentralized IoT company, which obviously OnFinality working on blockchain nodes kind of makes sense for us to use OnFinality here. Anyways, we are building a Polkadot parachain to connect IoT devices. To do that, we actually use smartphones. We turn the smartphone Bluetooth antennas on, collect nearby Bluetooth data, anonymize it, and then share it with the network. And at the center of all that very complex system, we actually have our parachain that's just controlling everything, handling settlements, and soon running missions.
Awesome. So maybe just stepping back, so for the average person who's maybe not familiar with IoT, the Internet of Things, and this network that you're building, what's sort of an application they could think of? Because you guys have a whole stack of different applications for this network. How can you make that kind of tangible for someone who's interested in this?
Yeah, good question. I would say our core expertise and today the most developed use case we have is actually asset tracking. And so we work, for instance, with a car insurance company in France named Nodle to find stolen cars. So consumers can actually find their car if it's lost. That's a solution that's offered by the insurance provider that's actually backed by the Nodle network. So in that case, it's more of an enterprise use case, right? And then they resell the solution built on top of Nodle. And that's the kind of use case we've been seeing mainly over the past, I would say, 4 to 5 years. Also, over the last year or so, we also started exploring and seeing more consumer-oriented use cases. So think of various applications that will be kind of at the border between like real and digital world. So think of you go to Starbucks and suddenly you meet Starbucks NFTs just by being in Starbucks. And so we think there's going to be quite a few more use cases of the type. So we're pretty excited about these ones.
So it's really leveraging the power, I guess, that everyone has like in their pocket with these devices, right? And you're embedding all sorts of integrations or partnerships that would be keen to take advantage of that network. And I saw there's always things like move to earn and play to earn, and you guys have got connect to earn. Can you tell more about you've got this cash app and how that works for people?
Yeah, so Connect to Earn comes from our prior focus on only connectivity. Our core focus of Nodle previously was we wanted to connect things, right? We wanted to connect as many things as we could, as fast as we could, and as cheap as we could. And over the past year or so, we realized that what we built can be a beautiful bridge between, again, real and digital world, right? I remember I did a few presentations on bringing Web3 to the real world. That's kind of what I think Nodle has the potential to do nowadays. And ultimately, the Cash App is the first and primary way to experience that. So the Cash App started as just an application that you'd run to turn your smartphone into a Nodle smartphone, right, that connect other devices. And nowadays, we are rolling out more, digital and Web3 and real world. However, we can come up with a word for that features within the Cash App. So I don't know when this is gonna air out, Rob, but for instance, for Chinese New Year, we're gonna experiment with a few Chinese New Year integrations, especially on the theme of red envelopes. We recently launched a new feature on real world located NFTs, which are NFTs that are kind of pinned on a map. And there's a lot more to come. For us, it is the best way to interact with the network. It's your vision into the potential of Nodle, and we want to treat it as such.
Interesting. I actually downloaded the app just to have a play with it, and I noticed that I was, it says I'm connecting to different Bluetooth devices nearby and so on. What, given that, I mean, I'm based in Singapore. Are there specific clients in different countries that are leveraging that data, or you're building out some use cases like globally, or how does that work, sort of region by region? Does the rewards that I get in one country, would that be quite different if I was somewhere else based on that?
So there's a few questions here, I think. I want to say yes to both of your first questions. So we do work with key customers in certain countries. So Roule, the car insurance company, is actually based in France, right? And we've been creating various pilots and integrations with other customers in, for instance, the US, Europe. We've had people in Mexico as well, and Brazil. When it comes to how the rewards are created, well, we are looking at just some kind of typical crypto reward formula, where ultimately your tokens, what you give out to people, is kind of minted out of nowhere as a way to kickstart a network, right? And over time, as the network grows and develops, then the issuance lowers, and real demand for the token takes over ultimately.
I understand. Given the state of the market at the moment, this crypto bear market, how's that going for you guys? And is there a current focus that's allowing you to build some certain features that you're excited about?
Yeah, it's going to go right. I mean, like everybody, right? We are not the happiest. It's not the bull market where everybody is excited about everything. But the way I see it, we are being offered the opportunity to really refocus on the fundamentals of the network and really take time to build. I like to say bears are a good time to build, and bulls are a good time to market, and that's true, right? But that's tough to debate. So that's basically exactly what we are doing, and we are again experimenting with new use cases, surrounding the cash app, surrounding real world integrations, and bringing more customers to the app, bringing also more features to the customer instead of the enterprise itself.
Yeah, we're finding that ourselves. Of course, it's not as exciting as say bull market, but great time to focus on some things and also do some research on various topics. So yeah, we've found it really helpful so far. But yeah, can't wait for things to heat up again whenever that is. And I guess on that vein, that obviously people always talk about look at the success, and you guys are a parachain and have done well. Are you able to share some of the challenges that you've faced and how you've overcome them?
Yeah, of course. So we were one of the most early adopters of Substrate. I remember when we joined the Builders program, it was like barely 10 parachains even participating. And we've had a number of challenges. Obviously, since we're talking about OnFinality, a lot of them are actually infrastructure related, right? I think the key challenge that really started our partnership, if we can call it that way, was our issues in scaling node infrastructure for mobile customers. If you look at the number of accounts we have on chain, we are actually the parachain with the most accounts. We have over 600,000 accounts active on the parachain based on Subscan data. And this is higher than Akala, this is higher than Moonbeam, this is higher than all those guys. And because of all those users that actually use the Nodle app and actually try to query the chain to check their balance or to potentially send transactions, we had extremely important pain points in having solid nodes that would serve queries at scale to those hundreds of thousands of customers. We tried to do it internally for quite some time. It was very messy and ultimately very expensive if you factor in engineering time, if you factor in infrastructure costs as well, because obviously it's not what we do as a living, so we may not optimize everything very well. And ultimately, we work with OnFinality to create a robust node query serving infrastructure, however we can call it. And since then, I think we've cut our cost on node hosting by probably 5 to 10x each at the very least. Because again, we were not exactly optimizing. And if you factor in the DevOps time to maintain these nodes, to maintain all these servers, the number is probably much, much, much higher. And also, our users are happier because they get faster replies.
That's the main thing, right? A better user experience.
Yeah,
I like the term that you have around unstoppable infrastructure, and that's we're delighted to be able to help support you in that vision you have, globally with this application. It's really neat. One of the things we didn't touch on there before is that there's the work that you're doing directly with clients and this Cash App that you have, but you also have an SDK that can be used by other partners, correct?
Correct, yeah. So the Cash App actually embeds the SDK, and the SDK is a piece of code that can be used to turn a smartphone into a Nodle-enabled smartphone that actually is an active part of the network. And we do work with application developers across the world. So we have some, again, in France, US, Mexico, Brazil, pretty much all over the world to actually integrate this. So we've seen, for instance, there's an ad blocker that's been experimenting with using Nodle, the Nodle SDK, to replace ads. As an ad blocker, it would be kind of terrible to show ads to their users to monetize their ads. So they're experimenting with alternative ways to do so. And I believe they offer their users the possibility to turn on the Nodle SDK instead of paying a subscription, and then they pocket the rewards.
Interesting. And out of all the areas that you guys are looking at, personally for you, what's the most exciting use case or future vision for Nodle?
It's a good one. I don't think I'm into a specific use case, but what I really like is what I was kind of teasing at the beginning, bringing Web3 to the real world. My gut feeling and position on Web3 ecosystems is great. We've built amazing things, but they don't really transcend to your daily lives. A monkey picture only goes so far. And I do think, obviously I'm biased, but I do think that with Nodle, we are kind of sitting in between both worlds, and we can serve as an infrastructure for use case and applications that can impact our daily lives a bit more than buying monkey pictures online or stacking coins on cooking whatever name pool you want to come up with.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's so many really interesting ideas out there, but very few that have some of the tangible kind of concepts that you've got, or at least so the average person could understand and use today. So yeah, I think obviously in the next, say, 5 years or maybe even less, you're going to see like a real explosion of these types of things. So you guys are obviously in a great place to monetize that. Switching gears a little bit, for those people who are interested in perhaps getting into crypto or Web3 or whatever term you want to use, do you have any advice for how to break into the industry?
That's a good one. I would say it's actually going to depend on the profile of those people. Let's say we're looking at somebody kind of technical minded. Maybe they are, working a standard software engineering job. Then, as more of a technical minded person, they may want to look into, what does it mean to write a smart contract? Where can I deploy it? What can I do with it? Right, and pick up your preferred smart contract platform. If we're looking at somebody less technical, like our moms or dads, maybe yours are more crypto oriented than mine are. I would suggest, just install a few apps, see what you can do. Just Nodle may be a good start. Totally not biased recommendation. Just install a wallet, get started. It only takes a few clicks to set up nowadays. Set up Rainbow Wallet or Talisman. Talisman is great. Nodle is very good too. Just fiddle around with a few apps and wallets.
Great advice. Well, thanks for joining us today, Eliott. It's been a pleasure to learn more about Nodle and the Internet of Things, or IoT. If you'd like to learn more about Nodle, you can check out their website. We'll put in a link. And if you're a Web3 builder and want to get stuck in with Nodle, you're at the right place. OnFinality is blockchain infrastructure made smarter. You can log on to our website and get up to 500,000 daily API requests for free to help build your applications or validate a node with Nodle. And you can take your DApp to the next level with all sorts of APIs and analysis tools that we have to better understand your users. Thanks again, Eliott. Great to have you here. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, see you.
See you.